it is important that their leadership helps them understand where the company is headed. What is the vision for the company, so everybody can align with that vision, because everybody is going to have a different perspective from the lens that they see life. And so because of that, it's important to understand that you're going to have those conflicts, right? But they all need to pull in one direction in order for the company to succeed, including themselves. Everybody gets overwhelmed, right? Because there's so much going on in the world. There's so much information coming at them at the same time, and they just don't know how to pick and choose what that is, right? So the VESTA Method is more than just a coaching framework. It's a transformational journey that empowers leaders to achieve their highest potential by integrating the VESTA.
Imagine standing on solid ground, only to feel it shift beneath you. Are you an entrepreneur and a leader who's felt that sudden change? Welcome to the Trustedpreneur Show, where we empower leaders like you with actionable strategies that you can implement immediately and take back control. Elevate your leadership and see results. Together, we'll unlock the steps to not just recover, but rise stronger, lead with purpose, and create lasting impact in your business. I'm David Ricci, your expert in growing and scaling businesses to 8 figures.
And I am Madeline Ricci, CEO and international certified leadership coach.
Madeline, today we're going to have a great topic to discuss how audiences can discover their true potential utilizing the VESTA Method that you created. So let's jump in.
Yeah, let's do.
First and foremost, what is the VESTA Method?
So the VESTA method stands for Vision, Empowerment, Strategy, Transformation, and Alignment. So this is a 2-day immerse program that is powerful and is structured as a structured approach to design for entrepreneurs and leaders that would like to make a massive shift in their personal and business life.
So it'll help them gain clarity and direction?
Yes, it'll help them achieve clarity, direction, and purpose in their professional and personal life.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I know.
So what makes it so impactful?
What makes the VESTA methods impactful for the audience that don't know about my VESTA program is because it's not a series of steps, right? This is really truly a journey that reshapes one's the way they think and the way they do things. Mm-hmm. So I find it a lot of value for them to see the impactful transformation that they can grab from this method. It leads into incredible life purpose, if you will, alignment and with your vision and values, and empowers everybody with those tools and the mindset to succeed.
How do you use the VESTA Method in coaching?
Yes, I use the VESTA method or framework in my coaching, starting with setting up the vision. Right, there's a reason why it starts with a V. Right, without a vision, we don't have any kind of direction. So the vision helps them navigate through what's possible. Right. It's sort of like the North Star, like the GPS to get to where their achievable destination through their journey.
Interesting. So when you're working with maybe a client, or well, more specifically, when you're dealing with a company, it sounds like when you get a group of leaders together, mm-hmm. but I'm thinking of the challenge of getting a group of leaders together that all want to, or are presumably aspiring to get to the next level. Mm-hmm. And they all have their own ideas. How do you break down their egos?
That's a loaded question, but that the easiest way of doing that is really truly understanding, if they understand what the vision from a company standpoint is, right? So it is important that their leadership helps them understand where the company is headed. What is the vision for the company? So everybody can align with that vision, because everybody is going to have a different perspective from the lens that they see life. Right.
Right.
And so because of that, it's important to understand that you're going to have those conflicts, right? But they all need to pull in one direction in order for the company to succeed, including themselves.
Right. And that's amazing. And so when you're working with an entrepreneur then, who may have a smaller team, maybe not as many quote unquote leaders, even though we always tell people everybody's a leader, they just have to choose to step into their own part of the role.
Sure.
How do you get the entrepreneur to now, through the VESTA method, to relinquish a little bit, not only of his ego, because he's the entrepreneur,
right,
but also from helping others help the entrepreneur grow and scale their business?
So that's how they come to me, right? They come with a purpose of wanting to be better or have a vision that really aligns with their values. So we go through an incredible amount of exercises during the 2-day immersive program that I teach, and that's for the entrepreneurs itself. And once I get them to a place that they understand, and we go through the whole entire VESTA, the vision, the empowerment, the strategy, the transformation and alignment, then that gives them the autonomy to go back into their leadership, right? The people that work for the company, and he can articulate clearly that vision. And be able to support them through this process as well, and give them the empowerment that they need for them to follow the vision that entrepreneur has put set forth.
That really is beautiful.
Yeah.
Because as entrepreneurs, we know sometimes getting your team to raise their level is difficult. But
it is.
I want to stay on the entrepreneurial front. So as entrepreneurs, we know this, and our friends that are entrepreneurs know this. So often they feel overwhelmed with just the responsibilities and stress of building and growing a business, the responsibility and the stress of creating jobs, through the helping their people, right, have the life they want to have as well. Also your clients, your customers, etc. How would the VESTA method help them gain more control over their day-to-day?
Everybody gets overwhelmed, right? Because there's so much going on in the world. There's so much information coming at them at the same time, and they just don't know how to pick and choose what that is, right? So the VESTA method is more than just a coaching framework. Right? It's a transformational journey that empowers leaders to achieve their highest potential. By integrating the VESTA, they create the path of lasting impact and success. Gotcha.
So what I'm hearing is that the VESTA method, it can help any business, no matter where they are in the process. It can help any individual, no matter where they are in the process. And I think that's the most powerful thing, because I'm hearing something that's recurring in your message, and it's something I haven't heard in a lot of programs, is the balance between the business, the entrepreneur, the leader, but also pulling in their personal and the fulfillment. And to me, that is an amazing thing. And I have a question I'm going to ask you in a little bit on that, but I want to make sure that I'm hearing that correctly, that it's looking at the entire person, the entire team, and all of their characteristics. And is there a specific tool you do when you're working on the immersive that jumpstarts you?
Yes. So the very first thing I do before I go through the vision, which is the first, the V, right? I give them an assessment that is called Mindset Dimensions, and that allows me to understand at a really deep level how they think, what do they value most, how they see the world, right? And through what lens. So once I understand that, I can create a strategy, right? I put strategy together, and then we sit and we go through the program, right? We establish the vision, and then I empower them and let them know, build that confidence level that it requires for you to move forward, right? Then I sit down with the strategy. Once I do the strategy piece, then the transformative, right, piece comes into play, and there's the alignment. So we really truly go through that process. But first and foremost, I need to understand the level of how they think, how they see the world, right? What is it about certain things that they just don't move the needle for them?
So it identifies, if I'm hearing you correctly, even triggers that from the standpoint of something that may change how they react in a more stressful situation, or on a, if things are going smoothly, they may respond differently. Does it also account for whether they have a fixed or growth mindset?
Oh, absolutely. And we all have a little bit of that, right?
Of course.
I mean, fixed mindset and growth mindset, it's something that people struggle with ongoing, right? And half the times they're not aware of it. So in entrepreneurship, growth mindset is essential to be as an entrepreneur, to be able to succeed. Now, I'm not saying that a fixed mindset wouldn't be able to succeed. The ecosystem for that mindset is completely different.
Right.
And we can have a mixture of both, right? I mean, that's just the way it works.
That's amazing that you have a tool
Yes.
that I've not heard of before. And
I have several tools in my tool belt, just so you know.
I know you do, but that tool
is the beginning.
But I can only imagine that once somebody gets those insights, that from a coaching perspective, you have an immense amount of areas that you can delve into to help them grow no matter what the circumstances. And to me, that's powerful.
It is.
And because that's a tool that, like I said, I've not heard of. Or people will say, well, that's like the Myers-Briggs, or that's like this.
No.
And it's totally different from what you're describing. So it's a powerful tool.
Yeah, this truly goes into your mindset, right? It goes as deep as, how do you process information? Are you a auditory learner or a visual learner? Are you a combination of the two? Are you digital auditory and auditory? I mean, there's just so much. The deletions, how information comes in and gets out. Your value system based on the wheel of life. So all of that, it allows me to view it. It's a 30-minute, it is a 30-minute assessment. You want to be honest. You want to be focused, interrupted, because there are times that, the question can be similar. Yeah. You might lean a little bit more towards the left or the right, and that has a meaning. Okay. When we answer neutral,
not talking political, right?
No, we're not talking political. When you do the middle, the neutral piece, is it neutral towards the left, or is it neutral towards the right? It does have an impact on how you answer that question.
You said something there, and I'm going deep on this because I'm really intrigued by it right now, and I don't know if we haven't talked about it enough that I got this intrigued. So if you're working with a corporate, it doesn't matter. You're working with somebody that has a team, and you have their people take this mindset dimension report or assessment. It produces a report, and they find out that they've been coaching them based off visual and not paying attention to audible.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, talk about an amazing opportunity to grow your business.
Yes, it is. And, when we want to empower our teams and we want them to go the direction that we want them to go, it's important for us to know what are they thinking and how are they thinking.
Yeah.
And now, this is confidential information. So, from a team perspective, I'm not really certain how one would want to share that information, right? That's a very powerful report because it's talking about your mind, how you think and how you do things. And that is confidential. But I do have other tools that, I would recommend, like the Strength Finder. It's a phenomenal book that has the actual exam on the back. And you can give it to your teams and learn what are their strengths and what are their areas of opportunities, which it allows people to put them in areas that they will thrive.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And I didn't even think about the confidentiality portion of it. But what I was thinking about was more, how many times have someone that is really analytical and they're showing you, a spreadsheet.
Yes.
And it's like, but then they show it to you in a different format or utilizing a different way of teaching and training that they now feel like they understand, they feel like they're growing, and I just think it's an amazing report. And I'm sure there's a way to do it, because I think that if you're a company, why wouldn't you want to know that about your people? Now, granted, I'm sure there's some disclosure thing and yada, 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 but it wasn't.
You want that. If you're working for corporate and you want to know more about your staff, you hire a coach, right? And a coach can give you, with the permission of the person, the coachee, they can give you, you can give them a high level overview of how this individual may or may not, react to certain things. Like for me, I am a visual learner first, and then auditorial, right? And, interesting, we were talking about this earlier, that auditorial individuals, they typically lean forward to listen because that's the way that they learn, right? They're very good in the audible books. They can recall more than most people because that's how they learn. And that is their number one way of relating to the world.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And guys, that wasn't one of my questions on my card. I just got pulled into the conversation like you guys are. So my next question, Madeline, is this. So many times there are companies or businesses that hit this plateau and they can't figure out why or what the root cause is. And it may actually not just be a plateau. It could be that they are losing traction. They are not growing, right? Or they're losing business. How can the VESTA method help them?
Yeah, I think we go back to the drawing board, right? And so first we will reevaluate the vision, making sure that it still aligns with their goals. Then together we break down their goals into actionable steps, ensuring that their strategy still aligns and is not only ambitious, but it's also attainable.
Gotcha.
That's very important. Sometimes we get crazy, and sometimes just going back to basics, right?
So I always look at it from my perspective, right? I don't coach the VESTA method, obviously, but I've heard about it a couple times, and it's interesting. I think you're right, though. It's always going back to the basics of, okay, is my vision what it still was? Am I empowering my people? Right? Do I have the right strategy? Right? And ultimately, it comes down to exactly what you said. If they're not aligned, your people aren't going to go and fight for you.
Agree. And one of the things also that I really invite people to do once they have become really good at understanding themselves and how this works, every 6 months, it would be recommended that they take the mindset dimensions.
Really?
Yes, because we change. Our priorities and values change. So it is best that we always revisit and see how we are doing. Temperature check on ourselves, inventory. And I think we often overlook that. Just it's no different than having a coach always there for you. Yes. Every 6 months, you should take a break from it and then revisit.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Coming from a coach.
Absolutely.
I've never heard that before either.
I mean, my goal as a coach is really give them the tools that they need for a lasting impact.
Right.
Right. But there's always things that come up that were not addressed during that coaching, but you also want to take a break from coaching because you can always be coach all the time. Well, you can, but that's costly. And B, if you're not doing the methods as they've been taught to you, then you're wasting money.
Fair enough.
I'm not about wasting money.
I know you're not. Well, my money, but that's a whole other story. Another question, Madeline, and this has to do with leaders. All leaders want to lead with greater precision and probably more clarity in their vision. Mm-hmm. What does the VESTA method deliver to help them elevate their leadership?
What the VESTA method delivers is more than just a coaching framework. It is truly a transformative journey that empowers leaders to achieve their highest potential by integrating the VESTA. We create path to lasting impact and success.
Because it's a framework, they can always go back to it. And they can always, it's interesting. Sometimes you hear in programs, it's very difficult to go backwards because they keep moving forward, right? Mm-hmm, they keep giving you different content. But your structure is very much the core of leadership and entrepreneurship.
For sure.
It's straightforward. And I love that because a framework that allows you to just constantly, it's like the great book that you read that you read over and over again. It sounds like this is similar to that. You can go back to this and you start from square one, but then you keep moving through it and you'll find the area that you're gapping. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And that's why I love this program, honestly, because it's 5 letters, right? And it tells you exactly step-by-step process and what it does, right? So if you go back to, oh gosh, I got to revisit my V, so I just go back to the V. Right. I don't have to go through the whole program. I just go in to the journal and let's go into the V and see what happened. Right. And again, I go back to the 6-month period. Always be rechecking where you're at. And that's why the mindset dimension assessment every 6 months is a really good tool to really help you assess where you're at all the time.
That's awesome. I have one last question for you and then we'll wrap because you've been on the hot seat today.
Yes,
how'd it feel?
I have. It feels hot.
So early on, I kind of set this question up. And I think we've already kind of answered, but I want people to really understand this. So does the VESTA method help transform not only business outcomes, but also personal fulfillment?
So the short answer to that question is absolutely, it does. And I do believe this because I lived this, been my journey. When you are internally happy with who you are and yourself, it transcends into whatever is it that the physical world of whatever it is that you're doing at that time. So whether that's work, whether it's in a relationship, right? You must be comfortable with who you are and what you have to offer. That's
amazing. Awesome. Great last question, I think. But I think awesome way of setting it up because, the way you said that, and I will say it from an integrator's perspective, when your business is doing well, it's easier to be happier at home. When you're happy at home, it's easier to be into your business, right? But to me, and we talked about this a couple of times, that you're really working on the entire person from business leadership, entrepreneurship leadership, and then personal fulfillment and getting all of that tied together. Mm-hmm. So, I think this was a really exciting segment to have. And I'm really proud of you on creating this program. And I know that people in the industry have looked at it and they're very impressed with this as being one of your first real salvos out there with a real methodology and framework to help leaders grow, whether it's entrepreneurial leadership or it's corporate leadership and their teams. Is there anything that you would like to add to this discussion? And I guess a couple other things I'd like you to add to the end of is one, this mindset dimension report.
Yes.
If somebody wanted to take it, or if they wanted to start working with you in regards to the VESTA methodology and that framework, how would they contact you?
So yes, so I could be found at themadalinricci.com. You can send me an email at mricci@themadalinricci.com as well. That goes personally to my inbox. That's the way that you can contact me if you are interested in learning more about the VESTA program and what it will do for you, the transformation that can potentially deliver for you. Of course, you have to be committed to the process, not just interested in the process. I work only with committed people because I love the impact that I can offer to those individuals. The mindset dimension is the same thing. If you're interested in not necessarily working in the VESTA program, but you want to do a mindset dimension to understand how you think, what is it about you that makes you you? You can absolutely email me as well. Anybody that that's listening to this segment and is intrigued by it, I will give you a code that can work as a 50% off one-time offer, the first 10 people that do inquired about.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And I want to thank everybody for listening today. This was a kind of a proud moment for me to help introduce this program and methodology. If you liked our content and if you've been listening to us and watching us on whatever platform you check your podcasts out, please like our show and also hit subscribe. And if you know anybody that you think this would be valuable for them, please refer us. That means the world to us. And as we always say, we're here trying to help you make the better decisions and empower you to grow your leadership and your entrepreneurship journeys. So till next time, thanks you.